Welcome back again. Another big report this hour. The Delta State Police Command has arrested a 52-year-old woman, a self-proclaimed pharmacist, who is suspected to be a major drug dealer. Now, security operatives uncovered illicit substances valued at over 80 million naira in her chemist shop in Afisere Community, Ughelli North local government area, exposing what police describe as one of the largest seizures in recent months. In addition to the drug bust, police confirmed the arrest of several other suspects linked to armed robbery, car theft and unlawful possession of arms and also ammunition. The operation, which authorities say is part of a broader security sweep, reflects growing concern about criminal syndicates operating in parts of Delta State and their impact on local communities. Now, here's our News Central correspondent Austin Azu with the full report on this matter.
Alongside other security agencies, have been intensifying its crackdown on drug traffickers across the states. At the Ughelli Area Command, the Commissioner of Police, represented by the command's spokesperson Brighton Afe, briefed journalists on the latest breakthroughs in the fight against drug cartels and other criminals terrorizing communities.
As you can see behind me, you discover that there are lots of drugs. These drugs you are seeing behind me, they are worth close to 80 million naira. And these are not ordinary drugs. These are controlled drugs. These are drugs that will cry and say that our youths are using to destroy themselves. Drugs that are driving some of our youths mad. Drugs that pushes some of them to go as far as committing murder, like the case we had in Sapele, and also one we presently have in the anti-kidnapping unit, where a young man took drugs and used machetes to machete the father's head in an attempt to kill him. These are what drugs are doing to our youth. And this is sad because these are also what some persons are using as a source of livelihood.
Police say those arrested also include armed robbers, car snatchers and other suspects linked to violent crimes in Delta State.
The second on my list is on a particular suspect that has been on the command wanted list. His name is Samson Ugbe, aka Big Man. We had two incidences last year. The one where the wife of an honorable member of the House of Assembly there was an attempt to kidnap her where two of her aides, two mobile policemen, were shot dead. We also have a case where about 180 bags of rice were stolen from a warehouse, of which we went to Ekpan police station and paraded some of the receivers and also showcased some of the rice. And also the robbery at Western Delta University in Ogara. These three cases are all tied to this suspect, Big Man.
Items recovered from the suspects include illicit drugs, firearms, cartridges, and vehicles. Meanwhile, the Delta State government has pledged continued support for security agencies, urging them to intensify efforts to rid the state of drugs and criminal gangs. In Delta, for News Central, Austin Azu.
And to summarize, a multi-pronged operation by the Delta State Police has led to the arrest of a suspected drug kingpin and several accomplices tied to violent crimes. It is a reminder of the nexus between drug trafficking, illegal arms, and community insecurity in Nigeria's oil-rich south. And joining us now to further unpack this are Austin Azu, our News Central correspondent, and Agbobore, majority leader of the Ughelli North Legislative Arm. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us this morning. Good morning. Austin, let me start with you.
Good morning, Queen. Good morning, Zeno.
Good morning. Austin, let me start with you. Can you just tell us how significant this raid was in terms of, the impact and the scale as, shown in the report with the drugs and the arms? What did you observe on ground?
Yes, first and foremost, we should quite understand quite well that the issue of drug abuse and illicit drugs across the state has become a nightmare to every stakeholder, and everyone seems to be worried about the impacts which it creates in our society. And the crimes we have in our society are traceable to drugs, and 80 to 90% of them are results of drug intakes. And some other places, in some other parts of the state, we have traditional rulers placing calls on them, and even some religious centers actually campaigning against it, and the Delta State government is equally hammering on it. So the one that took place in Ughelli recently about the harvest of the Delta State Police Command over these drug peddlers and traffickers is one of the significant aspects of what the security agencies are doing to ensure they are able to curtail these excesses in our society. Just a few days ago, we saw the NDLA went to Udu local government area to go and meet the local government chairman, where they had a synergy where they intend to fight drugs and illicit drugs in those local areas. So the significance of this remains the fact that if they are able to get information to those drug traffickers, at least we'll be able to curtail most of these sales. Imagine someone in possession of over 80 million naira drugs. Imagine the impact on our youth. Just like what the PPRO rightly stated on that video, you can see that most of the crimes being committed within those areas, one way or the other, this particular drug dealer is part of it. Because there's no way one will say that those people who are committing crimes, they will go into their activities without taking drugs or whatever. And this to say that this is not the first time this person who is into this kind of huge business is doing it. So it means that this person has been doing it for a very long time. And from what the police said, it was based on intent, intelligence, and information gathered that led to the arrest of this suspect. It's very quite pathetic that we have this scenario, ravaging our society, and much needed to be done to ensure that we're able to, reduce this issue of drug abuse and illicit drugs in our society. Most of these drugs have been prescribed, and these drugs are not allowed to be sold to individuals except based on doctor prescription. Imagine a situation whereby one is claiming to be a pharmacist, and you concede these drugs in a first aid box, all in attempt for you to hide it away from the public, and thereafter you begin to sell them to people with intention of destroying our society. It's a really big plus to security agency. It's a really big plus to our citizens. But however, more needs to be done to ensure we are able to curtail these excesses. This is just one isolated in many of these cases we have in our rural areas, because most of these drugs are not being displayed in the public domain. Most of them are sold in the hidden places. Even you as an individual, you can't access that place if you are not informed about whatever is going on there. Now, from information we gathered so far, that before you will be able to access that place, you will be scrutinized, you will be screened, because they have their agents. These agents, they are stationed at different locations. As soon as you are coming in, they started profiling you. Who is this person? Where is he going to? Where are you going to? And issues like that. So we need more collaboration. The security agencies need to intensify their operational standard. And of course, our citizens as well need to provide more information to security agencies for them to be able to get into the roots of those places, so that they'll be able to flush these people out. Because if you are able to reduce this issue of drug abuse, illicit drug sales, I tell you for free, from advantage position, that crime will reduce to a bare minimum in our society.
All right, Austin. Thank you very much, Austin. Austin, great information there about this bust and the drugs that were found and how it links to crime. Now, however, I have a question for S.A. Agbobore. As a legislator, majority leader, Ughelli North, I'm wondering, my simple question is Ughelli becoming a hub for drugs, drug use, and drug trafficking?
Morning to you.
Morning.
When we came into office last year, the first meeting we had with the executive chairman of Ughelli North local government is security. And that security has to do total of drug abuse in Ughelli North. So for over 1 year now, you can see the differences in Ughelli North. Recently, the woman that was arrested for drug selling and all that was paraded by the Nigeria police. You saw the nature and the kind of drugs she's selling to youth. So such a woman would have not been arrested if the state government and the local government chairman, they are not against the drug abuse.
What kind of drugs were these being sold to youth?
The drugs being funded in the shops, in the store, our chemist store. We have, according to the police report, they were tramadol, codeine, and other kind of drugs.
Okay. So back to my earlier question, why is Ughelli a spot for the use of these kinds of drugs? What led to it being a place where people can simply say, oh, you can get tramadol or codeine, even from chemists or from unscrupulous chemists? Why is Ughelli a hub for drug trafficking and use?
I won't really say Ughelli is a hub for drug trafficking. I won't want to agree with you.
Okay.
Drug trafficking is all over the states, all over the country, it's all over the world. So, but Ughelli is just one place that I think we need more sensitization, of which we have been doing through the office of the local government chairman.
Okay,
so as I speak to you now, we can say Ughelli is no longer a hub for drugs.
Okay, so I'm asking this specifically because I'm trying to get to the root cause. Because if people are using drugs, I can get it off of the street, then it must mean that there is something that there's an absence somewhere else. Are youths empowered? Do they have jobs? Could this be the reason why people find extra time, free time to actually, indulge in drugs? If you say it's not trafficking, then that means it's not about the business of it all. It's not about, making money from drug sales. It's about the use. So why are the youth prone to using drugs in Ughelli? Are they jobless, for instance, is my question.
And the truth is that we know this drug of 15 is common among youth, and the population of Ughelli is a very large population. I think in the whole of Delta State now, apart from Warri, there's no town or a city that is more populated than Ughelli. So when you have strangers, and because of the hospitality of the Ughelli people come from different places to live here in Ughelli. So most of the people who even taking drugs, selling drugs, they are not from here. The woman arrested recently selling drugs, paraded by the Nigeria police, she's not from Ughelli. She's not even from Delta State. So you see, because we are hospitable people, we accommodate people, we don't segregate whether you are from here or not. Strangers now come into our town to spoil our youth with drugs. But when we came into power, the local government have decided that henceforth, we will no longer tolerate illicit drugs in our local government. And you can see the fight already ongoing.
Right. So, Austin, my question now for you will be, like you mentioned earlier, was more of a whistleblower for the police or the authorities to be able to find this mysterious chemist that's been there. Can you tell us if they told you how long this operation has been running and how, how it was detected? How did they get someone to tell them where the chemist was?
Yes, like I rightly said earlier on, most of police investigation and arrest are based on intent and intelligence gathering. They have their own informants that provide them with necessary information. And of course, as soon as they are able to get rightful information for them to strike, they don't hesitate. And there's no way more information gathered over the years, over the period of time, will not lead positive sources. So obviously, the one in question in Ughelli was based on tracking. And the tracking involves a situation whereby the suspect considered most of these hard drugs in first aid box. Okay. And imagine someone who just walked into the pharmacy or the chemist as claimed by the suspect They just went straight to the first aid box, unbundled it, and thereafter started bringing out those drugs. It means there was the right information on ground that the police worked with for them to get that kind of harvest. So it has been like that over the years, and they have been working assiduously in collaboration with the locals, in collaboration with their informant, to ensure they are able to get most of these suspects arrested. And that equally goes to those other criminals involved in violent crimes in the state. So they act based on intelligence, and most of these police informants, they live among themselves, they live among them, and they are well within their communities. So that is why one needs to be very careful with whatever you are doing, because the long arm of the law will surely catch up with you. No matter how long you have been involved in this kind of illegal businesses, one of these days you will surely face the consequences of damaging our society, of killing our people by what you intentionally. Yes,
Austin, what I wanted to know is, did the police say how long that chemist has been running?
Pardon, I didn't get you correctly.
Did the police give you the exact, did they say, okay, the chemist has been running for a year, 2 years, 3 years? How long has that chemist been there before they discovered
How long
the
has it
lady
been operating
with
this illegal business?
Okay, fine. Yes, of course, the police didn't actually specify the duration at which the self-acclaimed pharmacy has been operating within that environment, but they said they monitored the process for a very long time before they finally, went to the place to go and arrest the suspect. So it has been ongoing for a very long time. So for such person to be in those kind of business, it means the person has
just a second, Austin,
put in more time in it. Over 80 million.
Austin, just a second. I hope you can hear me. We're running out of time, Austin, and I wanted to pitch a question to you, which I had pitched to Essay from earlier, regarding the population of Ughelli and how drugs and drugs trafficking plays in there. And I was asking I could paraphrase and say what the major occupation of most of the people who live in Ughelli is. And I mean the youth now, who are prone to use drugs like tramadol and the rest. I'm trying to get to exactly why there is why there seems to be a prevalence of these illegal use of these kinds of drugs there. Are youths empowered? Are youths jobless? What exactly is the state of the regular Ughelli youth? Austin, please.
Census, including from the last election conducted, you discover that they have a huge population in terms of their voter strength and so on and so forth. And Ughelli is not just the Ughelli town precisely. You have other areas, other communities, other sub-towns that are attached to the Ughelli vis-a-vis. And Ughelli landmarks is very big. You have Ughelli North, you have Ughelli South. So combined together and other areas within the Ughelli landmarks, you discover that they have a very huge population which cuts across the youth, the aged, and the children. So it's a huge population to go with.
Thank you, Austin. So, Essay, now that we know that there is a huge youth population, what are you doing as a legislator to try and make sure that youth are occupied?
First, what we are doing, when we came into government just about a year ago, we decided to initiate some bills that have to do with the establishment of a skill acquisition center, a job creation center in the council, which under the directives of the local government chairman, we are working on a place whereby we can be gathering CVs of all graduates. The local government will source for jobs for them. Then if you want to be skill trained, like a skill acquisition, the local government will also train you and empower you, which we have started. Just yesterday, the local government chairman gave out some startup parts to some persons in one of the local governments. And I believe with time, if we do it continuously, as time goes on, our youth will be empowered. We know the job issue is all over the country. It's not only in Ughelli North, but the chairman is working seriously to make sure that we reduce it to the minimum level of joblessness. But it's not even about joblessness. It's someone that have money that will go and buy drugs. A poor person cannot afford drugs. So it's not just about the jobs or about being unemployed. So that is why we need to do more sensitization and drug awareness for our people, which local government chairman has directed all community youth chairmen, all community presidents, and all security outfits, empower them financially to begin the war against drug abuse.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us and sharing more light about the drug trafficking in Ughelli.
Thank you, gentlemen.